Ladies and gentlemen, one thing I've learned in life, and I ain't just talking from books, I'm talking from experience, is that when somebody really loves you, their love shows up in how they talk to you. It's not about the grand gestures, the expensive gifts, or the big public displays. That stuff is easy. Anybody can buy flowers, anybody can take you out to dinner, but not everybody can give you presents. Not everybody can give you understanding. Not everybody can give you the kind of attention that goes beyond how you doing and really leans in to ask, are you okay? Now I need you to feel me on this. There's a big difference between somebody asking, how are you, because it's polite, and somebody looking you in the eyes, sitting with you in your silence and asking, are you okay? Because that question right there, that's a whole different level of care. That's not casual. That's intentional. That's somebody paying attention to your energy, not just your words. That's somebody who notices when your laugh is a little forced, when your smile fades too quick, when you're going through the motions but your soul is tired. You hear me? When a person truly loves you, they don't just respond to what you say. They respond to what you don't say. They hear your silence. They feel the weight you're carrying even when you're trying to act like everything's fine. That's why, are you okay, is such a powerful question. It's an invitation that says, you ain't got to pretend with me. You ain't got to be strong all the time. You can take the mask off with me. That question gives you permission to be human, to be vulnerable, to say, no, I'm not okay, and I don't have to carry this alone. And look, I know sometimes we don't even have the words to explain what's wrong. We just know something's off. And when somebody who loves you asks if you're okay, even when you don't know how to answer, it still matters. It still heals something because it tells you that somebody sees you. And in a world where people are so distracted, so caught up in their own lives, being seen, really seen, is one of the most powerful forms of love you can ever receive. I've seen relationships fall apart not because the love was gone, but because the attention was. People stopped asking the important questions. They stopped checking in. They got so used to each other that they forgot to notice each other. But when somebody keeps asking if you're okay, even years down the road, even when you're smiling, they're reminding you, I still care, I still see you, I still want to know what's going on inside your heart. Now don't get it twisted. This ain't about someone being perfect. Even the best people miss things sometimes. But consistency matters. Intention matters. If you got someone in your life who stops what they're doing to really ask you, are you okay? And they mean it, you better believe that's rare. That's special. That's love. See, real love checks in with you on your worst days and your average ones. It's not just there when things fall apart. It's there when things are quiet. When nothing seems wrong on the surface, but they ask anyway, just to be sure. Because they don't want to wait until it's too late to show they care. They want you to feel safe, not just supported. And let me say this too. Sometimes we don't even know how much we needed that question until someone asks it. You ever been carrying something so long that you forgot how heavy it was? Then someone says, are you okay? And suddenly you just break down? That's not weakness. That's healing. That's the love you didn't even know you were missing. So if you're wondering if someone truly loves you, look past what they say and pay attention to what they ask. Do they ask about your feelings or just your schedule? Do they notice your energy shift or do they just keep scrolling? Because somebody who loves you won't let your soul be in pain without reaching for it. They will ask you if you're okay, even when you look fine. Because love pays attention. Love is intentional. Love asks the right questions. You know what separates talk from action? One simple question. What can I do to help? Now listen to me when I say this. That question right there, that's love in motion. That's love that doesn't just observe your struggle, it steps into it with you. Because real love doesn't just want to know you're hurting, it wants to relieve your hurt. It doesn't just ask, are you okay, and then keep walking. It follows up with, what can I do to help? And that's where you see the difference between someone who cares about you and someone who's just around you. See, people will say all kinds of sweet things. They'll tell you they love you, they miss you, they need you. That's the easy part. Words are cheap when they're not backed by action. But when someone looks at your pain and doesn't flinch, when they say, I see what you're going through and I ain't just going to stand here watching, what can I do? That's when you know they're real. That's when you know their love isn't passive. It's active. Because love, real love, is service. It's sacrifice. It's being willing to carry a piece of someone else's burden even when you've got your own load. When somebody asks you, what can I do to help? They're saying, your peace matters to me. Your well-being is important to me. Your struggle is my concern. Now, don't confuse this with fixing everything. Sometimes there ain't nothing that person can fix. But just the fact that they want to help, that they're willing, that they're present, that alone can carry you through a storm. That alone can make you feel less alone. Because the worst part about struggling isn't always the problem itself. It's feeling like nobody sees you, like nobody is in your corner. When someone loves you, they want to show up for you in a way that makes your life a little easier. It might be something small, bringing you a hot meal, running an errand, sitting with you in silence, or just listening without judgment. But those small things, they speak volumes. Because what they're really saying is, I'm not here for convenience. I'm here for commitment. And sometimes what can I do to help isn't about solving a crisis. It's about showing you that you don't have to face it alone. It's saying you don't have to carry that by yourself. It's about partnership. It's about compassion. And let me tell you, in a world where everybody's busy, distracted, and chasing their own dreams, finding someone who pauses long enough to check on you and actually do something to lift you up, that's rare, that's real, that's love. Let me give you something personal. I remember when I was going through a rough patch in my life. Things weren't working out the way I planned. I was down, tired, questioning myself. People around me said, hang in there, Steve. Stay strong. You got this. And while that was all nice to hear, I'll never forget the few people who looked me dead in the eye and said, what can I do to help? That question hit different. It broke through the fog. It made me feel like I wasn't invisible, that somebody meant what they said when they said they cared. Because see, when love is real, it moves. It reaches. It responds. It's not just a feeling, it's a decision. And a person who loves you will decide over and over again to show up for you. They might not always have the perfect answer. They might not always get it right. But the willingness is what matters. The effort is what speaks. The heart is what counts. You want to know if someone's love is genuine? Don't just listen to their compliments. Watch their concern. Don't just count the good times. Count the sacrifices. Do they show up when you're weak? Do they ask how they can make things better? Or do they disappear the moment you stop smiling? That's why, what can I do to help is such a powerful question. It's not about control. It's not about being a hero. It's about being present. It's about saying, I'm invested in your peace. I want to ease your pain. I want to contribute to your healing. That's the kind of love that doesn't fade. That's the kind of love you hold on to. That's the kind of love that changes lives. Let me say something that took me a long time to learn. Sympathy without action doesn't go very far. Yeah, it might make you feel good in the moment, but it don't do nothing for the person who's hurting. When somebody's going through it, when life has hit them in the gut, when they're overwhelmed, tired, struggling, it's not enough to say, man, that's tough. It's not enough to pat them on the back and say, I'm here if you need me. What really matters is, do you move? Do you do something? Because love that's real, realer than just talk, always moves toward action. It don't stay still. It don't sit back while someone it cares about is drowning. And one of the most powerful ways that love shows up is by saying, what can I do to help? That ain't sympathy. That's support. That's someone saying, I'm not just going to feel sorry for you. I'm going to get in the trenches with you. I'm going to roll up my sleeves and be part of the solution. See, a lot of folks know how to feel for you. They know how to cry with you, pray for you, post a nice quote about checking on your strong friends, but they never actually check. They never call, never pull up, Never offer to take a weight off your shoulders. And I'm telling you right now, that's not the kind of love you need. That's not the kind of love that sustains a relationship, a friendship, or marriage. The people who really love you are the ones who move when they see you hurting. They see your struggle, and instead of feeling bad from a distance, they close that distance and step into your life. They say, look, I may not have all the answers. I may not know exactly what you need, but tell me how I can show up for you. Tell me what I can do. That's not weakness. That's strength. That's leadership. That's the kind of person who's got your back for real. You want to know the difference between sympathy and action. Sympathy says, I feel bad you're in that situation. Action says, let me get in there with you and figure out how we can fix this. Sympathy is passive. Action is powerful. And when someone truly loves you, they don't just feel your pain, they carry some of it. Now, don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean people have to rescue you or solve your whole life. That's not realistic. But a willing heart goes a long way. When someone says, what can I do to help? They're not saying, I'll fix it all. They're saying, you're not alone. I want to lighten your load, even just a little. Let's be real. We all hit points in life where we just need someone to stand beside us. Sometimes it ain't about money. It ain't about fixing the exact problem. It's about knowing someone gives a damn enough to offer their time, their ear, their shoulder. And when that offer comes from a place of genuine love, man, that's priceless. See, love that only watches pain is not love that works. And I know some of y'all know what I'm talking about. You've had folks in your life who saw you breaking, saw you trying to hold it together, and they just stood there. Maybe they said the right words, but they never followed through. Maybe they posted a status about how they support their people, but never called you when you were down. That ain't love, that's performance. And love don't perform, it serves. So when someone asks you, what can I do to help? That's a heart that's ready. That's a heart that's saying, I'm not here for the good times only, I'm here for all the times. That's the kind of love you don't take for granted. And if you've got someone in your life who consistently asks that question, without waiting for a breakdown, without needing to be begged, that's someone who understands what love truly is. At the end of the day, sympathy might make a person feel seen, but action makes them feel supported. And support is what gets us through the hard days. Support is what lifts our head when we don't have the strength to do it ourselves. So don't just listen to what people say when things are tough. Watch what they do. Because love without action is just noise. And real love shows up. Real love acts. Let me tell you something plain and simple. Real love don't vanish when it gets inconvenient. Real love is proven by presence, by consistency, and by genuine care. Now, I ain't talking about the kind of love that shows up when it's easy or when the lights are on and everything's going right. I'm talking about the kind of love that holds you down when life is upside down. That's the kind of love you can build something on. See, too many people think love is just a feeling, something that gives you butterflies, makes your heart skip a beat, or keeps you smiling at your phone. But let me tell you, feelings fade, butterflies die, texts stop. But what doesn't fade is presence, being there, showing up, especially when things aren't fun, cute, or perfect. Because love that's real is consistent. It don't ghost you when you're not in a good mood. It don't disappear because you're not your best self. When someone truly loves you, they understand that life ain't always pretty. You're going to have ups and downs. You're going to have days when you don't have the strength to be strong. But instead of running from that, real love stays. It pulls up. It says, I'm still here. You're still worth it. Well, let me give it to you like this. Anybody can love you when you're shiny, when you're at your best, when everything's going right, you got money in your pocket, confidence in your step, and nothing to complain about. That's when the crowd shows up. But the moment life hits you, the moment things get heavy and you ain't smiling like you used to, that's when the real ones reveal themselves. the ones who don't need you to entertain them or impress them. They just want to make sure you're okay. They want to know what you need. They want to be there. Lead director. That's presence. And presence is powerful because it says, I see you. I choose you even on the hard days. That's not conditional love. That's not, I'm here if you're perfect. That's not, I'm here if you make me feel good. That's, I'm here because I care. Genuinely, deeply, consistent. Now let's talk about consistency because that's a big part of the equation. Love that comes and goes like the weather, that's not love, that's a storm. You don't need somebody who only checks on you when they're bored or only supports you when it's convenient. You need someone whose presence doesn't depend on the circumstances. Someone who keeps showing up even after the honeymoon phase is over, even when the newness wears off, even when life gets messy and the excitement fades. You know how you build trust? Consistency. You know how you build a safe space with someone? Consistency. Anybody can show up once, but love that matters shows up again and again. Even if it's just a little text that says, I'm thinking about you. Even if it's just sitting beside you in silence when you don't have words. That kind of consistency makes you feel safe. It makes you feel valued. It makes you feel loved. And finally, let's talk about genuine care. Because love without care is just performance. Real care doesn't wait for holidays or big moments to express itself. It checks in on a random Tuesday. It remembers the little things. It notices when your energy is off, and it doesn't ignore it. When someone genuinely cares about you, they pay attention. They listen not just to your words, but to your heart. They make sure you feel seen and heard, not because they have to, but because they want to. Genuine care is quiet sometimes. It ain't always loud. It's not always about big gestures. Sometimes it's about making sure you ate. Sometimes it's about holding space for you when you need to cry. Sometimes it's just about saying, take your time. I'm not going anywhere. That's the kind of love that doesn't just feel good. It heals. It strengthens. It builds you up. So listen to me. If you've got someone in your life who shows up for you consistently, who stays close even when things are rough, who checks on your heart without being asked, don't you ever take that for granted. That's the kind of love this world needs more of. That's not luck, that's a blessing. Because love that's proven through presence, consistency, and genuine care, that's the kind of love that will carry you through every storm.